not affordability. I don't know why we have so many literally. It sounds musical. Affordability. Hi there, and thank you for submitting your essay for assessment at IELTS Juice. Let's dive right into it. So the rubric says, in many countries today, the eating habits and lifestyle of children are different from those of previous generations. A couple of elements here when we analyze the task. It says in many countries, so it's not 100% a globalistic approach. There are some countries, but that is like more like statistically in a higher number. So it's more visible. That's why we say in many countries. And we're focusing on countries, different nation states. And another key element here is the word today. So it's a modern phenomenon, and we need to acknowledge it as something that is contemporary and it's related to the today's lifestyle. The eating habits and lifestyle of children. So two relatively distinctive elements. One says eating habits. So it primarily focuses on foodstuffs. It primarily focuses on whatever we consume. And the second one is about lifestyle. It can be anything, the way we learn, work, uh, I don't know, exercise, our hobbies, our habits, the way we sleep. So lifestyle is a much broader term. And when I said we need to specify that another key element here is children. And children are people, duh, children are people, but people from the ages below 12. So they're not teenagers yet. And there are minors, but minor is a larger term. We are focusing on not infants, so more than 2, 3 years of age, plus all the way to the age of 12. That would give you a range. Plus, you can always focus on school children or primary school children from preschool, maybe kindergarten, preschool, and a little bit primary school or elementary school. That is a very good mindset. I want to be very clear. It's much better to analyze the task first and then you enter the writing phase. The task asks us to make comparisons between the previous generation, and it's very clear, previous generations. So you can address parents or grandparents or great-grandparents. So you can or all the way to ancestors. So you're free to choose. But we need to make that comparison, and that comparison needs to be made for both the eating habits and the lifestyle. Now, some people say this has had a negative effect on their health. So there is this opinion out there. Some people, some, not all, believe, now these are people, these are grown-ups, these are adults, that they also believe, they actually believe that it's negative. The modern eating habits and the modern lifestyle, both of them are detrimental to our children. The question, to what extent do you agree or disagree with this opinion? Now, it asks a direct question. To what extent do you agree or disagree with this opinion? I said question, pardon me, opinion. It's important that IELTS wants you to express your opinion. And IELTS wants you to express your opinion in detail, like to what extent. You can say I agree, or you can say I disagree. You can even go ahead and say that I 100% agree with this. I wholeheartedly agree with this. Okay, but you need to express that degree here. It's not as simple like, do you agree or disagree? And you go ahead and say, yeah, I agree. It's not a thumbs up, thumbs down situation. You need to show a degree and say, like, I'm kind of like in 70% agreement with this. And then you base your essay based on that 70% agreement. But that's not a literal number. I'm not going to ask you to just measure your sentences and come up with like every 10 sentence, 7 of it must be about your agreement. This is when I say 70%, you can relax and you can say that, okay, what Kasra is telling me is that more than 50%, okay, so I need to show that I agree and I agree more, but there are elements that I disagree with. And you mentioned a couple of elements that you disagree to make sure that your reader understands your position on this matter is not 100%, is 90%, is 80%, depending on the elements that you are going to bring to your essay, showing that, yeah, actually, this is not how it works. These are challenges here. We shouldn't lose sight of these elements that I just mentioned. Anyway, that was a long introduction. Let's get into the response. We cannot deny that the older generation maintained a rather active life and diverse diet. Well, that's a very good opening statement. Uh, and when you say we cannot deny, I don't know. I kind of hooked. You caught me. I'm happy to continue reading this. As the world continues to evolve, so so do our habits, plural. So you need a verb that matches habits. Some express concern regarding the fast food culture and sedentary lifestyle and how they are negatively impacting the youth. I like it. The youth is a very broad term. This is the place where we actually need to define who the youth are. We don't mean teenagers here. We don't mean young adults here. We don't mean infants here. Children is the target. So we need to be clearer. I strongly believe, okay, good. I like this is a strategic word because in this particular essay we have to what extent do you agree or disagree? You are showing your extent. You are saying I strongly believe. So I'm inclined to believe that more than 90%, maybe 100% agreement is the writer's main opinion here. Believe that the modern diet and way of living, these are two elements. That's why, again, we need a verb that matches the subject. The subject is plural. The modern diet and way of living impose a huge risk upon the younger generation. All right? We're clarifying this a step further, but we're still not there yet. And I will further elaborate in this essay. Okay, this is rather vague. And for everybody knows, your IELTS examiner knows when you say, I will further elaborate, everybody knows that you are going to talk about this essay in the following paragraphs. Maybe a better sentence, a better clause or phrase here would be to say, okay, the bases of my opinion will be based on A and B, or A and B, and I would like to also mention C. Naming it, listing your opinion creates a much better approach to your audience. That would be me, the reader, or in this particular case, your IELTS examiner. Convenience plays a big role when it comes to food choices. That's a very good topic sentence. So we're going to talk about comfort food. Let's go. Ordering from the comfort of your own home seems like the most efficient and time-saving route. I need to say, maybe the font here is a little bit misleading. This is not a dash, this is a hyphen, and hyphens are usually a little smaller. This is rather long. So there is a hyphen here because time-saving is a compound adjective. We are not talking about time route and saving route. We are talking about time saving route. This is one entity. So it has to be presented as one entity. Again, the correct terminology is compound adjectives. So make sure you study. There's a lesson about hyphens on IELTS Juice. I will put it in the description below. It will help. And oily. High calorie, exactly the same situation. We need a hyphen here. High calorie diet is often very satisfying to our cravings. It's a very good word. I like it. And over time, so this is a new word. Over time, like if you watch a football match, there are no Americans watching here, I guess. Maybe somebody from YouTube. So we're we non-Americans refer to football, refer to soccer as football. But anyway, there's overtime. That's one noun, one word, and it's written like this. But this means throughout, during a period of time. So time here is its own entity. It's the meaning that we all know. That's time. And this becomes its preposition. So we want to say over in the period of that time. It has to be separate. It's different from this word overtime when after 90 minutes in a football match, you have overtime. That's a different story. This is a different thing. We start to notice the damage it imposes on our health and our young ones. Again, we're being relatively vague. I understand young ones, we're getting narrower, but we do not specifically say that we are talking about our children. High cholesterol and I don't know why there's a mistake here. Seems similar. Anyway, probably our system picked up some error here, but this is the correct spelling of cholesterol. Yeah, I don't see any issues. Diabetes, comma, and hypertension. This is a listing comma. Even before and, we need a comma because in this case, we're talking about a list. Cholesterol, diabetes, hypertension. These are three elements. Each demands a comma. The last one demands a comma and the word and that comes with it. Are directly associated with obesity and unhealthy eating habits. I love the choice of words. The writer is knowledgeable in vocabulary. Obesity is another word I like. Hypertension is another word I like. Cholesterol, very good. Diabetes, I like the choice of words. They're all topic related. Additionally, restaurants, spelled this way, food trucks, another listing comma, and cafes are easily accessible. Affordable, again, another listing comma, and fit our fast life pace. Many ask me, Kasra, should we spell this with the French style when this E is not the simple E in English? IELTS doesn't care. Don't worry about it. This is acceptable. So don't worry about the French spelling. You may see the French spelling even in some reputable dictionaries. Yes, but that's fine. You don't have to obey that spelling. So this spelling of cafe is acceptable. The second thing I wanted to say, look, additionally, there are some elements are easily accessible. So they are accessible, they are affordable, and they are fit. Oh, no. Then we need to go back to the original subject and say, and they fit our fast life pace. So the verb changes. There is no penalty here, and the grammar is fine. The order, the listing, the comma, just make sure you add this one. Everything is fine, but the sentence is weird. So this creates a cohesion issue. So you have a sentence and there's a flow of messages, but there's a little glitch. You have a verb that doesn't necessarily match the elements here. If we are going to say that our verb is this and a list of adjectives, accessible, affordable, then this should be an adjective. This helps us create a much more beautiful sentence. I think we added this, places where children, not child, earn, and young adults, again, relatively or a little vague, can easily pick up. It's a verb, it's a phrasal verb, not pick up. We're not talking about pickup cars or pickup trucks. We're talking about a verb that you pick up, lunch, another slip of the hand, or dinner on the go. Very good word combo. I wouldn't use it for IELTS writing piece. It's more spoken. Our great grandparents and elderly relatives seem to easily maintain an active physical life. Okay, now we're switching. This is a new paragraph. So we switched from food related, diet related sentences and words to activity related, physical activity related words. That's a good change. This is also a very good topic sentence. They depended less on cars to commute, worked more labor-intensive jobs, and had regular workout classes in schools. So this is a very good sample to tell you the verb matches everything. We have subject and a verb. The verb is in the past form. They depended. They worked. They had. This structure resonates. There's a beautiful music to it. Nowadays, I like this touch. Most schools are hyperfixated, good word, on scientific knowledge rather than the health of, okay, kid has an informal register. Simply put, it's an informal word. It's not suitable for our writing pieces. IELTS writing is formal. Task 2 is always formal. Task 1 for academic students is formal. Task 1 for general training students can be formal or informal. The only way you can write an informal letter is when the task tells you to write a letter to your friend or to your relative or somebody you know very well, so that you can, comfortably say some words, some jargon, some phrases. Anyway, kid is not a good word to choose for any of our tasks in the majority of cases. So it's best that we do not look at it as an alternative to children. So something like the very young. Now you can see our alternative says very young. Here we don't talk about teenagers now. We don't talk about young adults. Very young means children. One may argue that gyms and extracurricular activities, excellent choice of word, excellent execution, exist. However, good punctuation marks, those require finances and time, which many parents cannot afford. Oh, sadly. That's a sad fact. Okay, final paragraph. In conclusion, the youngest generation is at a greater risk of health problems since obesity and sedentary, yeah, there's a sedentary, okay, sedentary lifestyle are heavily associated with many medical conditions. The availability of junk food in combination with its affordability, not affordability, I don't know why we have so many literally. It sounds musical. Affordability. Anyway, makes it huge temptation for many, not temptation. Inactivity and lack of physical productivity also contribute, again, plural subject, heavily to the worsening, good word, of the overall well-being, good word, of this generation. 298 words. Before I move on to the table, I need to say I love the sequence of events. In the first paragraph, we talked about eating habits, diet-related problems or issues. In the second paragraph, we talked about activities, exercise, physical activities. Here, we have the same approach. We have junk food combination and its affordability. Good. And we also talked about inactivity and lack of physical productivity as the other issues. I love the sequence of events. The sequence reflects, I mean, the sequence here reflects the paragraphs, and the paragraphs reflect the sequence in the rubric, one after another. So we have one coherent essay. That's beautiful. That's, I mean, generally from the macro perspective, when you look at the whole thing, the whole essay, it's designed very well. Moving on to the table, and yes, there we go. Seriously enjoyed the task response. I just told you we addressed all the elements, the food-related items. It's a current thing. We also mentioned other elements as well about like physical activities and their issues. And we focused on the contemporary, the young ones. I wanted a little bit of touch for more clarity. And you mentioned, I strongly believe it was maybe 90% or 100%. I didn't get if there is any like 10%, 5% bad things or missing elements. Maybe it was worth developing one more paragraph just to mention when we say to what extent, it's that extent. So we are also conscious of those bad elements out there. That's our task response. So it's not 9 because of those very small, tiny little touches that you need to observe and be observant in your essays. Perfect sequences of events. There is an overuse of connectors. I saw a lot of and. We had 3 listings. It's a creative idea to just show off your range of vocabulary. You can see, yes, when you come up with a list of items, this word, this word, this word, you're bringing words to the table, so the examiner will look at them and the examiner will say, oh, great range of vocabulary. Yes, however, when you play this card repetitively, you have to use a lot the same situation 3 times in one essay. In your in your coherence and cohesion, the essay suffers. You will see that. So there's an overuse. It's not bad, just we had 3 lists of elements in this single essay. Paragraphing, very good topic sentences. The sentence organization, very good. We had spelling errors, and not just 1 or 2 or 3 or occasional. No, we had quite a handful of errors in spelling, but they did not impede communication. I was completely aware of your messages. I understood everything. I got the messages. It was clear. The same thing I can say for your grammar and grammar points. And I guess this is a mistake from our part. Now, there is a range of very good grammatical range. There's a good range of complex structures, not just mix. There is more than that. So 7 is well deserved. There is 7 here, 1 6, 1 7, and 1 8. An overall of 7, well deserved. Make sure to work on your spelling. Well, I look forward to receiving more tasks from you. Until then, take care.